ready for takeoff.
We are cleared for takeoff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time to take flight in your community and in your life. This is Audio Airstrike.
What's up, everybody? I'm Everett Hall-McNeill. This is Audio Airstrike, episode 209. We appreciate you. We're back at it here again. With me here once again, I have Gabrielle Bromwell, who is a photographer, a mom, a great mom, and also the owner and host of the Moody Mama Podcast. Friend of the show as always. Appreciate you for being back again. We appreciate it.
I'm so excited to be back. Thank you so much for having me again. Our last episode was awesome. So if you guys haven't listened, go back and listen. It was great. And so I'm looking forward to talking some fun topics. And before we even start, not all women are toxic. So I wanted to.
Yeah, we need to have a come to Jesus moment with some of the ladies in the country.
Yeah, like I'm Amber and Jada.
Yeah, we need to have a come to Jesus moment. Ladies.
Come to Jesus moment.
Ladies. Look, I had no problem with toxic masculinity being a conversation for however many long it was, but we need to talk about toxic femininity. Now, I'm going to say this. Without healthy conversation between men and women in a relationship or whatever other relationships y'all in, because I know it's 2022, stuff is different.
Yeah, whatever kind of relationship you're in.
Yeah.
Can't really call it, female, male, or just relationship type.
Anybody,
right?
Anybody who you're interested in general. Ladies, I need you to understand, for one, you have to hear out your partner. You have to hear where they're coming from. You have to provide a sense of a safe space for them to be able to say how they feel. You cannot turn around and play chess with somebody's emotions.
And roles reverse too. I want to interrupt and say, because I think, and what you're talking about like goes both ways. I also think that the males should do the same thing with the females, or whatever you define yourself, you know what I mean? I think that in a relationship, right, most of the time there's two, or sometimes there's three if you have a poly, or how many, whatever, sister wives, and how many people you have in a relationship, right? Because again, it's 2022, but I think that also goes for both. So instead of just it being like, a male and a female thing, or if let's just say there's two in a relationship, right? Both ends having those grounds to be able to communicate. A relationship without communication, there's no relationship.
I definitely agree with that, but the issue that kind of strikes me up, right, is the current lack of accountability and the miscommunication that I see over a multitude of relationships. I sat back when I was younger and just watched how people moved in relationships, what they did right, what they did wrong. Here's what she don't know. Because it wasn't my business, but I watched how she handled the relationships she was in. And I took...
Talking to me? About me?
Yeah. I watched everybody.
Granted, I was like in middle school. Okay, wait a minute.
I watched everybody.
Middle school relationships are a shit show.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I just remember like having so many boyfriends. Like, I don't know if they're boyfriends. Like, what do we call them? Relationship, whatever. When you're like, I don't know, like... How old was I? 12, 13. I don't know how old I was. But anyways, like those, are they even relationships when you're that young? I don't know what they are.
I mean, I looked at, so the reason why I took that in as like almost, the reason why I observed that is because it was going to teach, and it wasn't just yours. It was other
did it
people.
Scar you for life? Because I feel like it's a sore cut.
No, it didn't. None of these relationships scarred me. Okay, they gave me game on what to watch out for and what not to watch out for.
Which is probably everything.
Well,
Do you know that like 3 of the people that I dated in middle school are like in jail?
Whoa, you ain't tell me that.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was just the people that... I don't know if I had like a bad boy phase or like, well, I'm guessing...
You definitely did.
But like...
I'm older. You definitely did.
Looking at it now and I'm just like, what's... Obviously, like, I just look at it now and I'm like, what the heck? But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like one of them was like in jail for like trying to like, I think kill someone when he was like on drugs. The other one was like stealing drugs, and another one, I think, something with drugs. They were all with drugs. But granted, I was in middle school. They weren't doing drugs in middle school.
Right.
But I mean, it just kind of goes, yeah, maybe it's because I used to go to the skating rink and that was my skating rink era. Did you ever go to the skating rink?
I went to the skating rink a couple times. I saw sketchy characters. I said, I'm never coming.
Did you go with us once? Yes.
I went with y'all one time, but I definitely didn't skate.
And I remember you were having a hard time skating. This is like a memory. It must be a core memory. And I remember like you being so tall, like you were holding on the rail and your legs were like
That's why I don't skate. I cannot skate worth a crap. That's why you will never. There is a couple. You will see me at every place but a skating rink. I will not be there. I will be on the side sitting chilling. And if I can't sit on the side chilling, like one, this is a side note. I had some old Bill Cosby looking geezer tell me.
Wait a minute, geezer. Pause that thought. My dad, my dad passed away, but he was the only person who ever used the term geezer. And every time he used it, I was hysterically laughing. I cannot believe you just said geezer.
That's what he looked like.
What define a geezer, please?
It's just okay. So an annoying. When I call somebody a geezer, it's like you are annoying, similar to how an old person can be annoying.
I thought geezers were older people, like old weird people.
I just made up my own definition and called it. Oh, it's like an annoying. You act like an annoying old person.
So that's what a geezer really is?
That's my definition of it.
I really want to know what a geezer is.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, we can look it up. But yeah, one time I was at the skating rink. It wasn't with y'all, but it was with another set of friends. This old Bill Cosby looking geezer going to sit over here and tell me, you have to keep skates on, otherwise they will kick you out. I said, excuse me?
I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
I said, excuse, so hold on. So you ain't going to give space to somebody that is literally just trying to hang out with their friends and not skate.
Yeah,
force them to put skates on, knowing daggone well they not going to skate. So now I got to pay extra money for skates that I'm not going to use.
Oh, so you try not to put on skates at all?
Because I knew I wasn't going to skate. Because I knew I sucked at skating. So what's the point of putting shoes on?
So you went to a skating rink. The guy said you had to put your skates on basically because you were there just at a skating rink and you didn't want to put the skate on or rent them.
I looked at him.
And so you called him and
I ain't calling that to his face, but I had to. You know when I don't like somebody, how my face is.
Oh, I know.
I looked at him like, you gotta be freaking kidding. Like I gave him that look like you gotta be freaking kidding me.
So if you don't like somebody now, will you call him a geezer?
I could call them a couple of things. Like it depends on how mad I am, which I'd lay certain language I don't want to say on this podcast, but it depends on how mad I am.
Geezer.
If you get me to that point, I'm gonna tell you about your behavior, and if you don't like it, oh well.
You got me geezing over here.
The dude looked at me with a serious face like you working for the police. I'm like, bro, I'm not.
This is the skating rink patrol.
I'm not no undercut. I'm not no drug dealer walking over here. I'm not a drug dealer in the skating rink. I mind my own business. I go to school. I have decent grades. What is you looking at me like that for?
He was probably like, dude, like just put on some skates, and you're like telling him,
no, the way he was talking, he was acting like a daggone police.
You're about to get kicked out of the skating rink.
Yeah,
for not wearing skates at the skating rink,
which was stupid. I said, and then you act that way, and your food is terrible. I will never be back here again.
Oh yeah, their food was really bad.
Food is terrible.
Again, they closed down.
I don't miss that skating rink at all. It should have closed down.
I thought they died.
Years.
Didn't they die?
Oh, man, see, now you got me going in. Now I was about to go in. I was about to go in on that skating rink. Now you said that I can't go in.
I don't know if they died or maybe the one person, like, I think they retired and the family didn't want to take over, but didn't one of them die?
I mean,
if they did, rest in peace, but if they didn't.
Look, I'm going to say this. Y'all could have got that together a lot better than what.
Oh, okay, I agree. Have you ever been to the other one, like, up the street?
Is it better than that one?
Well, all skating rinks have that smell. Like, if you've ever been in a skating rink, they have this smell. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What, like the feet mixed with steel smell?
Yes.
That one?
That's actually a perfect, like, but maybe a smell of, like, burnt pizza. Like, in mix of it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's better taken care of, but it's still a skating rink.
Yeah, y'all got to get these skating rinks together,
I did not realize that you had such a strong feeling. So I know you have a strong feeling with that, but tell me, like, so obviously we kind of briefed on it. Like, tell me how you feel, like, about, like, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case, because I'd love to hear that.
So this is how I feel about the case.
Skating rink. Geezer.
It's a lot of them around here. So this woman, and I'm using that term loosely because a woman should be acting more classy than what she acted. To sit over there, the biggest thing that I took away from that case is when they played a soundbite of her saying, I'm paraphrasing here, nobody's going to believe you because it's Johnny Depp in a relationship. So basically... Oh,
I did. I remember that.
Basically, you are fully aware of some of the male disprivileges that men have when they go through abusive relationships. And you are also aware of your privilege that if you say he abused me, that guy has to be held in handcuffs or be taken away with the police. You are aware of that. Then you turned around and weaponized all of that against Johnny Depp, dragged him to court, abused this man. This
ruined
man
his career.
Several times tried to get away from you. He tried to peacefully walk away. You have no punch marks. You have no bruises.
She's crazy.
None of that sort. And then you get on an interview and turn around and sit over here and say, but you still love him. No. What kind of toxic stuff is that?
Was that after?
After
I think I did see that. But thinking about this, do we think that maybe, will we know, right? Or do we think that she has a mental problem?
She probably does, but get the help for it.
But I wonder, they probably won't make her because she played the victim. So I think that that's a lot of, it's a classic narcissist, right? I mean, it is. But I think,
see a narcissist run, please.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's really what it is. I think she played the game, but she played it so poorly that she couldn't remember. So I've always said to anybody or my kids and stuff like that, and even to my husband, that it takes more to lie than it does to tell the truth. It's easier to tell the truth than it is to tell a lie. Why? Because lies get twisted over and over again. Like, right? If I'm going to tell you a lie, unless I replay that lie like a million times, I'm going to end up going, this lie and XYZ, or this lie and XYZ ABC.
And then somebody smart's going to be like, yes, okay, these are two different equations. You lying.
But the truth is always going to be the same story. We caught her. Well, not we. I mean, well, I guess we did. Social media really like hepped up that. But I mean, the lies that she told were like ridiculous at that point. Like, and my favorites were like, I was watching a lot of things like on TikTok, and like the things that she would say, and he would just like laugh, like, oh my gosh. Okay, did you see the Aquaman interview? Did you see that? The guy Aquaman.
Review that for me. I saw it, but I forgot.
Oh my gosh,
like,
it was like so funny. I couldn't, like, I even sent it to like Ryan because I was hysterically laughing, and he's like, what's so funny? So he got on, he was like, dude, what's up? Am I like filming? Like almost like he was like high as a kite or drunk, but he got on there and was like basically like defending Johnny, but like in a way, like, but he was like, yo man, what's up? Like that kind of vibe. And they're all like, Johnny's like putting his head down and like kept like laughing because it was just like a shit show, because he worked with her on like set. Basically, like all these people came, like all these witnesses came and basically like defended him. Granted, do I think that he may have been 100% innocent? Probably not, right? When you're in a toxic relationship, because I've been in a toxic relationship, right? Granted, I mean, it tends to be like you do things like in a defense mood. Like, so Johnny, like let's just say like I was Johnny and whoever I was in a relationship with, like that toxic person was Amber, right? They do something to you and yeah, you could tell no, but eventually you're like, you may do that, like that push, because they won't get out of your face. They won't stop doing like toxic behavior to you, and you're kind of like in a way, and there you go. They use that little thing of defense mechanism that you just use it against them and turn it into, that's what you did first and that's what you did wrong. So in a way, do I think that there could have, like, I feel like it was a lot of it that he could have done but was in defense mode because of what she did.
And I can't, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never have all the details.
Like, we weren't there. This isn't our life.
Right.
But do I think she's batshit crazy?
Yes. And I think that one of the things that we have to understand is that, for one, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you are going to get lied to. You are going to get lied on, and sadly... Manipulated too. And sadly, they are just, no matter what, they are never going to see how you're feeling in the situation. They're going to primarily focus on themselves. Those are signs that you are dating a narcissist.
And there's not just that, there's so many. I mean, dating is someone who's narcissists is a lot of time they like gaslight you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're like all the time. Like it's always like they make you think that you're the problem. And I feel like that was also with this. Like she is the classic narcissist because the whole thing was like Johnny did this, Johnny did that. I mean, she would agree to some things, but like for the most part, like the whole thing with the makeup and the picture with the bruises and stuff like that. Right? She was like showing that, but then the whole makeup company, what got on like Twitter, Instagram was like, no, like our makeup, no. Like our makeup wasn't even out. Like, and not even in stores yet. And she was saying that she used that. Like, it's like the stupid lies. Like, you know what I mean? If she would have been like, oh, I used something like, I don't know, we'll say like Wet n Wild or something. Like, she could have got around to saying something generic. But she went to like the thing to say the exact palette and everything. And it wasn't even out. Homegirl can't even lie.
Well, she can't even lie, and she can't even have a career now because the reality situation is
she lost her contracts.
Yeah, she lost her contracts. It was even admitted that they were trying to recast her. They were going to cut her scenes down from the original Aquaman movie.
Oh, and put it out.
And put it out and shoot. Like, yo.
Her career is done. But
her career is totally done.
Because she doesn't get like alimony or anything.
None.
Right? Because I think when
she got to pay.
Yeah, she does. But did she get anything? I thought she don't get anything.
I didn't hear nothing. She didn't
I gotta review that.
Johnny is getting several millions of dollars.
But he just lost every contract he had. Think about it. Disney's putting out Pirates of the Caribbean without him. How can you make Pirates of the Caribbean without him? And we like went to Disney and he has a whole dang ride. Like, and it's him and there's a lookalike. How are you gonna make it without him?
When they see those numbers that it ain't making money because he's not in there, I bet you they're gonna call him back.
You know what? I didn't think about that. Like, I feel so bad.
I hate to say it, but when you see, this is how
I'm not going to go see it.
This is how the film industry works, and this is where the people have the power. If I don't see a Pirates of the Caribbean movie without Johnny Depp, and I sit back there and I go, oh hell no, I'm not watching this.
Oh, I would not pay. Now do you have any
idea how much money they lose investing millions of dollars into producing that movie for it to not make the money back plus more?
They're in the hole, right?
They're in the hole.
But when they're Disney, right? I mean,
make no mistake about it. Disney does not want to put out something and then be in the hole.
I thought it was already in production.
It might be, but I don't think it's going to make.
It's not too late. It is not too late to add him.
Well, sometimes when you get the ball rolling, when the script is there, it's like, okay, do we literally halt production to keep it going, or do we do? I mean, if they do something and put him as a cameo in the end to lead into something else, then that'll salvage it. But if you're doing a whole entire Pirates of the Caribbean thing, and he's not even mentioned or there completely, people are not going to pull up to see that. That's like doing another Edward Scissorhands sequel, and you don't put him in there to make some kind of cameo appearance.
I've actually never seen the movie. I know what it is. Yeah. But like, I've seen people in costumes.
It's a dope movie. It scared me a little bit because he was just acting.
Did it scare you now or when don't lie. It's okay. You don't have to lie.
It's cool now, but when I was young, I was like, the hell is this? Get away from me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel like thinking about what he looks like. But you know what? I think that like Amber, obviously she's crazy, but like you heard like that whole thing with like Jada and like Will Smith, right, at the awards.
So I've covered this before, but I'm going to go even deeper now. This is what I'll say. There is when we talk about toxicity, you can think about Amber. When we talk about lack of accountability, I look at that couple. There used to be a time, it's crazy how life is, right? 20 years ago, everybody looked at Will and Jada as the perfect couple.
Yeah, I remember.
And people wanted to be them. Now, it's 2022 and everybody's like, I do not want to, damn it, I don't want to be either of them, which is crazy.
I feel for Will. Again, it comes back to because two things. A, he was granted, we don't know like what happens behind the scenes, right? But she's the one that cheated on him, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, with what? Who did she cheat on with? Wasn't
August Alsina, R&B act.
Yeah, so she cheated on him, but yet he still stayed with her. He still, you know what I mean? He's like, I love her so much, I forgive her, right? So then when all this stuff happens. And granted, like she's went through, you know, a health thing. Like you can tell that like Will loves her. That was an act out of love. But at the same time, should she have been like, if he was sitting there, you know, you can tell when your spouse is getting a little riled up, right? Like, let's just say, like, you know, you're my spouse, like you're watching someone say shit about me and my medical condition, right? And I could see you getting like, I could be like, it's okay. Like, well, you know what I mean? Later, not now. She could have calmed him down, right? But she didn't. She, in a way, who knows what she said? She could have been like, no, like, you need to say something to him, right? Like,
that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know, here's the thing. You know, we're at the Oscars. You know our procedures to this. And also add this tidbit in there. You know that Will Packer, who is a black producer in Hollywood, is promoting this. So now there's that aspect on there.
I see. I did not know that. Okay.
So now there's that aspect on there. Like, it's us. No offense. It's us. The one thing that I will say, right, is she had enough coof and enough pull to be like, hey, that's just a term we use, like clout.
Okay. I know that word. I'm not that old yet.
She had enough sense. She should have enough sense to be like, hey, well, let's actually communicate. Let's not do the red table talks anymore. Let's focus on us. And sure enough, what did she do? She had Will sitting up there looking pitiful, and she's sitting over saying, I just needed to feel good. And I just, like, is this an apology? Is this healing? No, it's not.
Do you think that it was done on purpose? It was already planned?
I hope not.
I've also seen that because, like, people have really, like, zoomed into the way he hit him and stuff, and zoomed into whatever his name's face, and, like, there was no mark. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that like, was analyzed by a lot of people. Do you think that like the ratings, if you do look, their ratings were down the past couple of years, and this has brought them all up? And then think about it, people would be like, oh, well, this kind of stuff happened last year, I want to tune in it like the following year. Do you think that it could have been done for views?
I hope it doesn't, because and this is where I kind of get into this. I don't want that happening at the expense that a African-American producer, that being the first time at the Oscars doing that and producing and full-blown running the show. I don't want a setup like that to be the first time something like that happens.
I agree 150%.
So that's why I'm just going to say I hope that wasn't the case.
But you've heard that too, right? Of it being like staged.
Yeah, I just hope that wasn't the case.
I also hope, I mean, that's not, it wouldn't be fair. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
It's not fair to everybody that had their hands involved, and it's not fair to everybody that put their 2 cents in, that did what they were supposed to do. It's not fair to the all the hard work of the different films. It's not fair to the entire community as a whole. Like, there are certain things that don't need to be. This is not reality television. This is the Super Bowl of filmmaking.
So this is what, remember when I come down to reality TV has like upped everything.
Yeah.
So that's what, and that's also another thing that somebody said, like referring into like reality, like it was like a reality TV episode to get more reviews. I hope not either, because that would not be fair. You're right, to the producer, to anybody who worked with it, you know, especially it was like a moment in history, you know, for the first, you know, black producer, right?
Yeah. And for that to happen, it would be very unfortunate for it to be this setup thing. And, you know, because I'm the type of person where there's got to be a certain level of integrity left. And if you start doing those things, it just makes people view you a certain type of way when you do those things.
Like the normal people like us would never know unless something comes out of it. So we would just like assume, you know what I mean? Like,
our audiences are way more intelligent than even when we were coming up.
That's what I saw, but I saw it on TikTok because people were like going to like the specs. They're like, this doesn't make sense, and like really dive like deep into the. You get in those like rabbit hole theories and stuff like that, and it's kind of like, but like what you just said, we pick it apart, which people do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what. So I mean, I hope not, but at the same time, let's just say, you know, as we thought, like going into this, that like it is 100% like what happened, and going back to it, it's kind of like, you know, very similar to like Amber Heard. It was kind of like the same thing. You know what I mean? Like they allowed this behavior. We are our own people, right? You know, we choose how we want to treat others, how we want to act, how we I don't want to say show, but how we put ourselves out there, or the show that like we'll say they put on, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you also don't know what's happening behind closed doors with them, like with her and him. Like, I wonder what's happening now. You know what I mean? Just thinking about it like now. Like, do I always think that it's always one person over the other that's like bad? No, I think there tends to be like that, like, because we don't know. We only know what we're told. So we really don't know like what goes on in closed doors. Now we do know what we see, and what we saw, that was a shit show.
Right. And also
should never have got to that.
Yeah, it should never got to that point. But also what we see is the lack of accountability on Jada's part, because it's like everything that you're saying sounds like you're reading it off a teleprompter. Like there was like a Red Table Talk bringing up Oscar night. She was like, hey, da-da-da-da.
That's what I'm saying.
And it sounded rehearsed. Like
exactly.
It was like,
there's probably so much shit going on, but you know what though? If they were to probably separate, there'd probably be a lot of money involved in the separation. And you know, sometimes people don't separate because of that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't condone breaking up families. I don't.
But what if it's toxic?
If the situation is getting to this point where it's toxic, there needs to be a serious reevaluation. And if nothing can be done, it's best to just. There's no point in this life of being unhappy. There just isn't. I'm not a fan of divorce. I'm not a fan of separations. But if it's a situation like that,
as I said, it can't be either one of the relationships. You know, Amber, that can't be healthy for kids.
No, not at all.
Both of them, and what there's Amber has one, and I don't know how many that Jada and Will have. Like what, 2, 3? I don't know.
It's 2.
4? Oh, I don't know. But those kids aren't stupid.
In fact, 3.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not stupid. Like, they see that kind of stuff. So I think that it could be toxic. And even know that they're married, you don't have to stay with someone because you have a kid with them. I mean, I know that firsthand. I mean, I'm not with my older son's dad, but it's fine. Like, it would, if we were, when we were so young, but if we were, it would be toxic. And that's not good for yourself.
But also, you guys have done a fantastic job, and this is based on what I've seen social media wise. You guys have done a fantastic job, and I know it took a while to get there.
It's still work in progress. Like even though like we have a good relationship, like a good co-parenting, but it's still work in progress. It will always be. I think relationships in general, whether it be a relationship like, you know, with whoever you're with, right? You know, intimate relationship or a friendship or a relationship like with, you know, another, you know, employee or anything like that. I think every relationship we have in our life, right, is a work in progress. Does that make sense? We're always working on relationships. You're always working with a relationship with your mom, right? I mean, you're not going to choose today and be like, choose violence today, right? You're not going to be like that.
No.
But, you know, you wake up and you're like, you know, you work on a relationship, you know, you work on a relationship with a friend. Like, we're always in working relationships. So, yeah, I think people have the ability to, you know, to work on relationships. But I also think that comes a time where relationships can be past that point where it's toxic. Right. And there's no point. Right? I think we can agree with what I'm trying to say with that. Like, and so a lot of times it's better to just be apart.
It's definitely better.
Not surround yourself with those people and not be with them anymore.
It's definitely better. I'm the type of person I am. I'm not going to sit over there. And I've told
literally
couples
sit
this.
Over there.
I'm not going to sit over there and try to have you stay in a relationship for the sake of the kids, because let's be honest, the kids are smart enough, they're gonna pick up on,
I swear, at every age
separation.
They're like legit. At every age they're freaking they get it, and
they
may not get it at that level, but they get it.
Right. They're gonna know because they know the difference between a couple that's actually together and one that's not. They know if mom and dad are in sync and when they're not. They know. You don't have to tell them. That's embedded in them. That's their DNA right there.
They have some sort of part of the brain. There's some connection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. Like, oh, y'all are really not on the same page, and I noticed that. Like, like kids know, no matter what age, especially if they're older. You can't lie. Especially if they're older, they're gonna call you on your bluff.
See, those kids are gonna watch this. Probably gonna watch this court case, right? Your kids are gonna watch the Oscar. It's never gonna not be on the internet. It's always, everything is now on the internet, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just erase your history like you used to be able to. Not fully, but they'll be able to watch that stuff. Like, it's not like it's on a VHS and then whoops, it gets lost. It's lost. They're gonna be able to always find that. And so are they gonna be like, why didn't you guys just separate? Like, why didn't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it is not our lives. It's not your life. It's not my life. And we can make decisions for people. We just have opinions on things.
That's what this show is all about, having opinions on life. Now, I will say this. It is July 4th. And I'm going to be honest. I do notice this. I feel it in the air. People are not as enthusiastic about patriotism as they used to be.
I agree. I agree. Well, I mean, so much shit's going on.
Yeah. And also, part of the reason is because I think that once you become older and more aware of certain things, and once you grow into the person that you want to be, if you are a part of, and whatever type of community that you're a part of, when your community is not being heard by the powers that be that claim liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness.
Let's put that in like big letters.
And they claim they pursue the peace, but nothing they're doing is peaceful. Yeah, you gonna feel some type of way about hearing a Bruce Springsteen song talking about born in the USA. Yeah, you gonna feel a way talking about that.
I mean, so I also think that again comes down to technology and society and stuff. People forget why we celebrate 4th of July. Mm-hmm. They forget, right? But now, what do we see if we get on social media? Cookouts, fireworks, beer, alcohol, like cookouts. Like, we're not thinking about truly like what why do we even have 4th of July? People look at it as like a day off, right?
Keep going, yeah.
And like, all that kind of stuff. Like they look at it like, it's just kind of, like a holiday to sit there and to drink and to kind of get like rowdy or to go on a boat or, like there's no like reason anymore, basically, besides that. Like it's just become a party holiday, right? So, but also it could be that people are in a way, shielding or kind of putting what's going on around us, what's going on in the world, especially like, the past like few weeks, and they're kind of putting it on the back burner because they don't want to hear it, because they don't want to deal with it, because if they deal with it, that means that they have to kind of in a way like do something about it, and people don't want to do anything about it because so and so may not be doing anything about it, or they don't think that the stuff that's going on with us can affect them.
Yeah, and I definitely think that when we unpack everything, and for example, right? So I'll be very transparent. The past 2 to 3 years, every 4th of July, I'm dressed in all black. Now, anybody that knows me knows I am not emo. I do not like being.
Oh, sorry, I mean, I hurt you. I'm like interested. Yeah. I'm really invested in what you're about to say.
For the past 3 years or so, I have, like this year, I will be dressed in all black again. I started doing that 2020, 2021, 2022. So literally the first 4th of July in the pandemic, the second one, and now from that point on. The reason why I started doing that was because that was my underlining way of saying I don't like how African Americans are treated, viewed, and how they are disrespected in this country. And until that changes, that is the color I'm going to wear on 4th of July. Now, everybody who knows me knows I'm not an emo, I'm not a scene kid, I'm not any of that stuff. I will wear basic kind of clothing. It's a visual of, that is a particular visual of, okay, July 4th, 1776, yeah, everybody got their independence, but people that look like me. We didn't get it till Juneteenth, which was June 19th, which was the last bit of slaves.
That's why they made that a holiday.
Mm-hmm. Which were the,
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I understand where you're coming from.
So on Juneteenth, that is the holiday specifically for African Americans where we really got our freedom.
Is that where you wear like your 4th of July stuff?
Well, that's where I wear my dashikis, my African clothing that I have upstairs and stuff.
Oh, I've seen you. Okay.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, that's why you'll see me pop out with that. But when it comes to July 4th, 1776, we were still, we weren't technically us as African Americans, we weren't technically free then.
So can I pause you?
Yeah.
When you say, and I, forgive me if I'm uneducated.
Yeah.
When you say African American, is it okay that I use the word, black? Like,
Yeah,
I always want to be educated, and I never want people to, I can be wrong because
I say African American to be proper on this show.
Okay.
That's why I say it. But I mean,
I've also said African American before in the past, and people are like, I'm not African. Or you know what I mean? Or it says something, they're not African. So
it all depends. I know people are different. Like if you say, I'm going to say African American because I have African lineage.
Okay.
But I was born here. So I have African lineage because of the way I look.
I don't want to be non-educated. I don't want to be in a way like not use the correct terms. I always want to make sure that I'm respectful.
Yeah.
And I've also, in like what you just said, I've said, African, and they're like, I'm not African. So, and they're like, I'm black. You know what I mean?
Some people, and the thing about it is some people are going to feel that way.
Okay.
Because...
No, thank you for educating me. That's what I want to.
Some people are going to feel that way because they didn't come, because in their mind, they didn't come from Africa. So why would I be called an African American?
Okay.
But for me, if somebody looks like me, regardless, this is my personal opinion, you are going to have African roots.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You are going to have, you can't get away from that. You are going to have African roots. The look on my face, how my facial structure is, I have African descendants. It's in my blood. Like, that's something you just can't erase. So if somebody calls me African American, I'm not going to get mad at that. If somebody says I'm a black man, I'm not going to get mad at that. So the reason why, and this is just me. So if you notice, mine is kind of loose.
Yeah, that's what I said. I've heard others, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to hear different opinions or different feelings, different, backgrounds, because everybody's so different.
Right. And with me, the reason why I wore and will continue to wear all black on 4th of July is because black people weren't seen as free during July 4th, 1776.
Wow. See, you're educating me, and I appreciate it.
We weren't seen as free. We weren't seen as free until June 19th, 1865.
Does black almost like so wearing black, right? And I get why. But why wear black and not just normal clothes? You know what I mean? Black would mean... Okay, so a lot of times people, like, at a funeral will wear black, right? Mm-hmm. That would mean that death, right? I mean, so in your eyes, wearing black, what is that? You know what I mean? Like,
black, I wear that shade for a certain reason. Black signifies a lot of things.
That's what I was wondering. What is it? Okay.
For me, I'm making a bold statement. Everybody wants to be dressed up, because you think about it, right? Everybody wants to be in bright red, white, and blue colors on the 4th. Which, I won't lie, I just got Old Navy shirts, for me and the kids. Yeah. So everybody wants to do that. With me, I'm going the opposite. I don't really care. I'm not in the mood to be patriotic with y'all. That's just me.
Do you celebrate at all?
I mean, if a friend calls me for a cookout, I'll go.
That's what I was wondering.
But I'm coming in there. Let it be known, I am coming in there wearing all black. Okay. Because
I get it.
Now I'm not gonna. Now I will always, if you call me saying, Everett, we're having a 4th of July cookout, pull up. I'm gonna pull up.
Yeah.
But my thing is, don't expect me to take one of the American flags, wave it in the air. Don't expect me to mess with sparklers like that. I'm not in a patriotic mood. I'm more in a mood to hang out with my friends and get to know them.
Is your mom the same way?
She knows my stance. Mm-hmm. But is she the most
patriot? Oh no.
Is she the most patriotic person? I don't think she's as extreme as me.
But she kind of feels the same way.
Yeah, I think she recognizes her being a black woman.
Where did
in this
this come from? It just
came from Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, a bunch of other unarmed black people that just were getting killed by police and nothing was being done by it. Because
I've heard of people wearing all black and almost like a silence thing.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what it is with you? To clarify more of like a silence, you're not speaking out, but you are in a way with what you're wearing and kind of not being patriotic.
And I would always wear all black during protests Because
so that's what I was wondering. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I would always wear all black during protests, and the thing about it is that black
silence.
Black was always dignified as evil, deaf, everything that was negative.
Yeah.
You call me a black man and are treating other black people like we're less than, like we're negative. And then media pushes us as heathens and all this other stuff.
And I'm so sorry. It is not nobody. I mean, nobody should be treated like that.
Absolutely.
And it's real. And it's good to talk about because, again, things that don't get talked about need to be talked about.
Yeah.
Because how do you spread awareness? How do you spread truth? How do you, by talking about it?
Right. So the reason why I decided to wear the all black is when then the kicker was the George Floyd incident. When that happened, I said, I'm done wearing. I used to be that guy. I would come out in the red, white, and blue and wear that on the 4th. The 4th of July used to be my favorite holiday in the year.
But it's okay to change. This means that you grew.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
means that you become educated. You weren't stuck in your ways. Like you grew as a person. And you know what? Like I had no idea, and you just changed my outlook on it just by being here. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like. That makes complete sense. Like you changed the way that I look at things. So like, thank you. You're making a difference, and you don't even realize you're making a difference.
Yeah, and that's just my subtle way of saying, hey, look, like if somebody asks me and they're not being antagonizing, I tell them, I said, hey man, look, like the reason why I wear all black is this. Like until I physically feel that we're all being treated the same and with the same level of respect, then I'll go back to probably wearing some kind of patriotic thing. But as of right now, I don't feel as of this moment, I don't feel very patriotic, and I feel like I'm lying.
You may start like a movement in a way,
I feel like I'm lying. I feel like I'm lying to myself, sitting over here and going to see fireworks, and then we're sitting over here hearing the national anthem and Star Spangled Banner, all those lyrics that are in there. Like all of the patriotism stuff that we do act-wise on July 4th, it just doesn't feel right. And I'm seeing a bunch of people that look like me, that talk like me.
I know what you mean.
Not being treated with the respect that they should be given. You know what I mean?
A lot of people are naive and they're not educated. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing podcasts is because you get other perspectives. You learn so much information. Like I wouldn't have known that if you didn't tell me. Yeah. And I respect that. And I applaud you for sticking and being true to yourself, because a lot of people aren't true to yourself. And that is why so many people are in these situations in the world, in society, and, in politics and stuff, because we don't stay true to our word. We don't stay true to ourselves. So you're making a difference even if you don't realize it. So thank you. Yeah,
I appreciate you being transparent and also just being open with me to talk about these things, because
always feels good though, right? Doesn't it feel good to talk about it?
It feels good to talk about it. And friends of mine kind of, and close friends of mine knew where my stance was. They wasn't surprised when I started doing that. They caught on.
Then they're good friends.
They caught on. They was like, you know what? Because I've been very vocal. You've seen me. I've been very vocal on social media about black issues. I don't hide from it. I talk about it all the time.
But we can't hide from issues, from black issues, from anything. We can't. It has to be put in the world, because people like me, okay, if I didn't see, it sounds crazy, if I don't see stuff on social media, I don't have cable, so I don't know what's going on.
Absolutely.
So I think you posted a lot of things when I can't remember on some incident, and I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for you posting it. So it's good to spread awareness. It's good to keep posting and to tell the world how you feel. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day if they don't agree with you, because you just, again, you got to stay true to yourself.
Right. And I want to touch on two things before we close this episode. There's two things I want to touch on. There was a decision made that a lot of people don't agree with when it comes to women's bodies. With that being said, folks, to those of you who were, and I'm speaking very eloquently here, for those of you who were agreed with the decision and disagree with the decision, please allow space for there to be communication to learn what the other side is feeling, so that way you can be further educated, and that way you cannot gaslight each other. Because I saw something on a post.
Saw it nonstop the past.
I saw something on a post And I'm going to put 2 photos up. It was a photo of a gentleman blocking the rainbow with a shield over his kids. I saw another post where somebody from the LGBTQIA community made a post of the same photo, but instead of the rainbow, it was Christian symbols, religious symbols.
Oh, wow.
Here's what I will say. That type of rhetoric, plus another thing that I saw, another post that I saw was, if you don't agree with me or you are happy about this, go F yourself. That was one other post.
I've seen them too.
Another post was, if you are happy with this in any way, shape, or form, unfriend me now.
I've also seen that.
I will say this straight to everybody. Those kind of posts don't bring nobody together. It does not educate nobody, and it's very immature. You are basically saying you are not mature enough to have a conversation with somebody that does not agree with your stance.
Yes.
Stop it. Stop making them posts that way. This is coming from, and look, I could drop names because I know exactly who made those posts. I'm not going to because I'm not trying to guess.
15, 20 names.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have to stop doing this. Just because a decision was made does not mean an entire religious community is out to get you. Just because a decision was made does not mean the entire LGBTQIA plus community is out to get you. I am tired of the gaslighting post. There needs to be more talk and more discussion amongst each other so we can be educated, understand where the people are coming from, and have more grace over somebody that does not necessarily think how you think. The problem in this country, and the reason why there are the issues that we have, is people don't take time to get to know other people. If I think differently from you, I'm your enemy. That's the type of time we on now, and it shouldn't be that way. Let me tell you something. I saw a post somebody made, somebody that I respect, somebody that I care about, literally share a post that says Christianity is the problem in this country. I'm Christian. I'm Christian. If I wanted to, I could be mad and upset. But you want to know what I did? Guess what I did? I said, you know what? That brother probably went through a whole lot of trauma dealing with Christians that didn't treat him well. And that's why he probably shared the post. I gave people the benefit of a doubt. And you telling me you can't do the same?
The world's separated right now.
Why are we acting so separated? Because we're not getting exactly what we want, or we're getting at somebody, or we're getting at somebody because they disagree with me. You guys are playing into the divisive nature that is breaking this country down. And let it be known, I will share this clip and I will make sure it gets sent to everybody that I'm talking about with this. We have to stop doing that. I'm asking respectfully, but I'm also asking this with a certain level of authority. Please stop putting up posts like that. It is not helpful. It gaslights people that think differently from you. And it shows that you are not mature enough to deal with people on social media that necessarily don't agree with you. I am Christian. I'm black. Not everybody agrees with that. Do you think that stops me from reaching over to the other side and showing people that not all of us act this way? Some of y'all know I'm Christian. Some of y'all, when y'all first met me, were scared of certain things y'all would do because you thought that I was going to send you guys straight to hell. No, I led with love. I sat back there and encouraged you because I was taught differently.
You were raised.
And it changed your opinion on certain Christians. And that's what it should be, learning from one another and taking things on a case-by-case basis instead of sitting over here saying all the LGBTQIA people act like this. All the Christians act like this. Y'all been going at each other for years.
It's easier to blame.
It's easier to blame than to get to know each other.
Exactly.
Because that takes effort.
You post one thing and it's like the world it's divided. We are in a divided society right now.
And if everybody just get out of their own way, it don't have to be like that. This is more simple. If we focused on actually learning from one another, forget the government. The government going to be selfish and do whatever they do. Forget them. Leave them out. I'm talking about us now. I'm talking about us as citizens.
Human beings.
I'm talking about us as human beings. There are certain things that people do from a lifestyle standpoint I'm probably never going to understand. Guess what, though? I'm still going to have the conversation. I'm going to still treat you with the utmost respect as long as I'm treated the same. Just because your lifestyle is different from mine, I don't hate you. Her lifestyle is different than mine. I don't hate her.
Yeah, we were literally the complete opposite. But you know what? I think why we get along so well is because we spread peace, we spread love, we spread, like, we're completely opposite people, and your neighbor may be different. Like, what do they say? Love thy neighbor.
Right.
And we don't. We are more so like a hate. I feel like, it used to be like, oh, we don't know that person. Like, you love someone until I feel like we now hate thy neighbor until maybe something we agree with the same view.
Right.
I mean, but we're not all going to agree with the same things in life. So does that mean that we always have to hate people?
I'm going to talk to the young generation that is seeing all this right now. It is totally okay to grow up in an area where not everybody agrees on the same thing. It is totally fine. Adults, because y'all need to hear this too. It is totally okay to grow up somewhere or to be around people that necessarily not everybody agrees on the same thing. I went to Towson University. I went to a community college coming out of private school. I went in knowing, not everybody gonna rock with my religion. I walked in, even though people didn't rock with my religion or who I prayed to, they still treated me with respect because of how I conducted myself. That is the upsetting part, right? Because y'all have programmed multiple generations to get at somebody on social media necessarily because they don't agree with every single thing that you stand for. If
social media wasn't a thing, would we hear half of these people's opinions? Probably
Absolutely
not. People tend to be warriors behind keyboards, and they say things that they couldn't even bear to say in person.
I'll go a step further, right? For everybody that has a problem with what's going on,
do something about it.
Have you donated? Have you been to a protest? Everybody and their mama had. Let me tell you something. I had a problem with George Floyd. Guess who was at a protest though?
But if you can't, like someone like me, obviously I have a bunch of kids. If you can't protest, you can also not that we're saying like social media, but you could also get on social media and spread how you feel too. I think it's hard sometimes to be in person or share links of resources, something, and trusted resources, not just things that you just kind of see on.
Not just things you're gonna pocket the money later. Don't do that. Don't do them scams like that. I'm watching y'all.
It's just. But I think what he's trying to say and to kind of put it in as a whole, it's just if you don't like what you see, you don't agree with it, then you do something about it, right? I mean, we
have to be the change we want to see.
We do. We are the change of the world, and these tiny little humans that we are raising or watching our friends or family raise, they are the future. And if we are like this now, knowing that we, some people feel like they have less rights now than our grandparents' rights when it comes down to, female reproductive rights and stuff. Like, if we don't like what's going on, then we need to change. Because if we don't change this, then those tiny humans that are going to be the future, it's just going to be worse for them.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree.
So be the change you want to see, and don't stop, pushing for what you want in the world and what you believe in.
Absolutely. And with that being said, this has been another edition of Audio Airstrike. I'm calling for unity. I'm calling for grace, but I also am calling for understanding, because we are in a melting pot, ladies and gentlemen. And some of y'all forget that we are in a melting pot. Not everybody's going to agree. So it's pretty imperative, and it's definitely okay, but it's imperative for you to understand that, but also educate yourself and get a different perspective so you can be more of a respecter of persons. Absolutely. We grew up in two different households. Yeah, and we can get along.
Yeah, and we've agreed to disagree, and we've also learned from each other's different perspectives this whole time. So it's this is what community is. Yeah. This is how people should be. I mean, you guys want to be like clones of us, but this coming together when we may have different views, this is what the world should be, instead of like being like, you know, cutthroat with
right.
each other.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I want to thank you for coming on this show. I definitely appreciate it. If you want to plug your podcast, you now have the floor. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you guys. So I am the owner and of Moody Mama Podcast. You guys can look on Spotify, Apple, and stuff like that. Everything that basically has a podcast, that you guys can listen to. But basically, I just kind of brief on stuff like real life stuff, but more so of like the mom and the family and the toxic friendships and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. You guys can go listen. And obviously, you have two of the coolest podcasters right here. And we appreciate you guys listening to us. And you guys have a great rest of the day. And happy 4th.
Y'all take care. Happy 4th. If you see me in all black, you know what's up. Don't stress. Y'all take care. Happy 4th. See y'all.